You knew I had to do this joke. I couldn't avoid it. Look at my nipples. Mmm. Fuck it. Let's make some moonshine.
I just said, yes, man, right away, anything.
Alright, so maybe I got a tiny bit ahead of myself. That was filmed months ago, right before I started. What actually ended up happening was kind of a train wreck. This is going to be kind of a condensed version of what went wrong with my recipe, and then what you do to fix it so that you can make melon wine for whatever you want. If you're going to drink it as melon wine, great. If you're going to drink it as moonshine, that's up to you. Tastes like sunshine. So the recipe is going to be down in the video description. It's a whole bunch of melons, some tomatoes, don't ask me why, and then a bunch of other ingredients. Anyway, check the video description for the full recipe and the correct method on how to do this. So yeah, if you're sitting watching this video topless right now, look down below the video description for some links to very snazzy, stylish bearded and bored t-shirts. All right, on with the show.
It doesn't get as stinky as the last batch.
Me too. I'm actually very concerned about that. If it does get stinky, I just need your patience for just like a couple of days where it smells like farts. Looks like it's coming in at 1.11, like about 14 to 15% alcohol. All right, so now I've got everything in there. I've got the yeast nutrient, the citric acid from the lemons, the pectic enzyme to help those cell walls in the fruit break down even more. You know, you can blend it like I did, which, you know, kind of makes it harder to deal with. Now here's the thing. This is gonna be really messy to deal with. I'm gonna have to filter this. So basically wire mesh and some cheesecloth over another bucket and pour this through that in order to straighten out all the crap. I didn't really think this through, so learn from my mistakes. I'm using Distiller's Active Dry Yeast, but if you want to get some better flavor out of this, please use some wine yeast. For right now, to get this thing going, we're gonna throw in the heavy hitter with some Daddy. Daddy will take this down to nothing in just a few days, 4 or 5 days probably. Okay, so now I'm just gonna throw the airlock on this thing and get it going. Hopefully it doesn't smell like a dead guy farting. Okay, so I'm not gonna put you through all the rigmarole of what I went through and make you watch that. I'm making this clip right here so that I can delete a whole bunch of crap that you would have had to sit through and tune out. Long story short, the melon wine stalled. I started the melon wine in August, and in October, when I was supposed to go and meet George and Jesse to do some other things with it, I had to strain it through a wire mesh because I couldn't get it to, it was too thick to strain through a mesh bag, and that was a bit of a nightmare. Once I figured out that it had stalled, it started at 1.100. When I got to it several months later, it was 1.050, so it was still really sweet. I did everything. I checked the pH, I repitched yeast, added yeast nutrient, increase the temperature a little bit. I even stuck this thing in a warm bathtub to try and get it to kick off. I even threw in a pound of 24-hour turbo yeast at the direction of my homebrew doctor down at his homebrew shop. None of that worked. Nothing worked. I got it to go down another 10 points, so it went down to 1.040, and then we had to do some other stuff to it, but I'll cover that later. Here is where we pick up and I explain to you what actually happened so that you don't make the same mistake and you can have some successful, delicious melon wine to either bottle or do other things with. All right, here we go. So the Melon Wine, Melon Moonshine project was a bit of a disaster. And mainly that's my fault for not doing enough research. I found out after the fact, after my batch stalled and then stalled again, that basically there's a compound in most melons, especially cantaloupes, that can stall a fermentation. It's actually antimicrobial and antifungal. What I ended up doing was a whole lot of research to find out that basically what people have done in the past is they put all of their melon chunks into a bag or some sort of a filter and they press the crap out of it to get just the raw juice. So that's what I ended up doing to test this and find out if that's actually why mine failed, because I want to make sure that if you try this, you don't end up with something that's not going to work no matter what you do. So what I did is I made up several different concoctions here. This one and this one all have enough sugar in them to make about 13.5% alcohol if everything works out well. This one is sugar and water, yeast and juice, mostly juice, a little bit of pulp. This one has a lot more pulp. And then this one was filtered several times. I think I only made it to go up to about 8 or 9% alcohol. And all the crap down here on the bottom is just yeast. But anyway, all these are done fermenting. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a hydrometer reading. If this one didn't finish out, it definitely was this pulp that slowed it down. My main observation with this one is it took twice as long for the bubbles to stop. This has been fermenting for almost 2 months. And just yesterday, this stuff dropped out. This one finished over a month ago. So let's see what happens. This one is the one that had a lot of pulp in it. It's actually a pretty good little wine. I would drink that right now. But here's the problem. I taste the alcohol, but I also taste a crap ton of sugar. It's very sweet. That tells me it didn't ferment out. 1.021 or 022. So it definitely did not finish out. It stalled. So good. So far so good. Theory, holding water. That one's definitely stronger. There we go. That proves the hypothesis. This is 1.000, meaning it fermented out dry. Interestingly, there is still the impression of sweetness. So if you want to make a melon wine and just bottle it, it's pretty damn good. It's pretty tasty. I like it. So that's fantastic. That means that it was the pulp. Can you see my goosebumps? I love this hobby. I love finding stuff out and then testing a hypothesis and getting results that are clear and definitive. So the one with a lot of pulp in it did not even finish out after 2 months. Not only was it super slow to ferment, it never finished. So that's fantastic. That means that the reason why that 5 gallons of mash that I made never finished out was just because I left all that crap in there. What you normally do when you do a fruit wine, you mash the piss out of it, keep all the solids out, maybe you even strain it again before you start your fermentation. That's what I would recommend. Then it would have worked out perfectly. I don't know about you, but I need a drink. Tastes like melons. So theoretically, if you did have a stall like that, what you could do is mix it with about another 5 gallons of fully fermented sugar wash to cut it, basically, and then distill it. I'm not saying that's what I did, but if you were in that sort of a bind when your friends are in town, that's something you could do. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and check the gravity on the others. My prediction, same result, 1.000 or lower. All right, so this one is actually just honeydew, straight honeydew juice. That's why it's kind of green. And yeast and nutrient and all that, but I only got the sugar content up to about potential alcohol of about 8%. Yeah, that one's bone dry. 0.995 for that one. So it fermented out fully. That's not very good at all. The straight honeydew, it's not a winner. You know, lesson learned. If you're gonna do this one, I did a mixture of golden honeydew and cantaloupes because that's what I had at the store. If you can just do it out of straight cantaloupe, do that because I think that might be tasty. So, all right. I am really excited by the results. When you have a stuck fermentation, there's several different things you can do, of course, and we went through those. The problem is you're kind of shooting blind and you're just trying all those different things to see if that's what it was. Turns out it wasn't any of those things. None of those things were the factor. It was actually the content of the bucket. So obviously there's something in that fruit pulp that prevents fermentation, or it severely limits it. So I love having the answer. Okay, so now this video is finally done. I started working on this in August and it's now almost Christmas, as you can see. So finally having an answer and understanding why that didn't work and how to fix it, how to prevent that in the first place. Now, what I'm gonna do, down in the description, check out the recipe. That will be the full correct recipe so that you are successful if you want to try this. And it's fantastic as a melon wine. And if you distill it, it's probably pretty good. Totally up to you to find out. I'm not a cop. If you enjoyed watching me struggle with this project, do me a favor and please hit the like button. If you want to help out my channel, then click on any one of the Amazon affiliate links to get any of the supplies that I used, because if you do click on them and you buy anything on Amazon through that affiliate link, I might get like a penny or a nickel. Basically, it's advertising space for Amazon. But it doesn't cost you anything extra. It helps me to pay for the supplies that go into the videos to offset some of the cost. It definitely helps out. So if you want to use any of those, video description right there with the recipe. If you want to see what kind of weird stuff I'm going to do next, hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon right next to it so you can get notified when I post new content. If you have any questions or comments about this video, please put them down in the comments section and be gentle. Thanks for watching. Talk at you later.